You're right.
Thank you,
Alhamdulillah.
sir. Awesome. Thank you for waiting. Thank you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. And welcome back. So last time we stopped at جمع المذكر السالم وجمع المؤنث السالم. The sound masculine plural and the sound feminine plural, right?
Right, right.
And I remember there was homework.
Yes.
Okay. So we wanted one example. I remember only one example from the singular plural, the plural sound male and the plural sound female.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can you tell me about some of your discoveries?
I can start, Sheikh.
Yes, Shayla, go on.
For the plural male accusative or genitive, I did ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هذا للمتقين.
Then للمتقين. Excellent. And where is the word that we are looking at?
للمتقين.
للمتقين. Okay. So متقين. What type of plural is this?
It is accusative or genitive masculine plural.
That's right, accusative or genitive. In fact, here it is genitive because this lam at the beginning means a proposition for
Yes.
or to. So it is genitive and it is male plural. MashaAllah. Mumtaz, mumtaz. What else did you find? Yes, Shireen?
For the plural male nominative in Surah Baqarah,
Mm.
ayah 254, in verse وَالْكَافِرُونَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. ظَالِمُونَ is what I found as masculine plural nominative.
What number is the ayah?
254.
254. Okay. Yeah. 254. Yes. Here we go. والكافرون هم الظالمون. Yes, subhanallah. So which words are we looking at?
ظَالِمُونَ.
الظالمون. Mm. And in fact also الكافرون, both of them. So الكافرون and الظالمون, both of them are masculine plural sound, and as you said, it is in the nominative case. So what is the marker for the nominative case here?
Waw and noon.
The waw and noon. You see the waw and noon here at the end of the word al-kafirun, and the waw and noon at the end of the word al-zalimun. This is an interesting ayah because the ayah after it, directly after it, is the most celebrated ayah in the whole Quran. So what is the ayah that comes after it? الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم, Ayatul Kursi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it is just the ayah before Ayatul Kursi. Jazakumullah khair. Danish, you raised your hand?
Yeah, just a clarification. Like normally when there are male and female together in a group, then it is like combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the words used are as a male or whatever it is, right?
That's
Because
right.
that's our standard, using as a male thing. But it's
That's right.
basically a group of male, female, both,
Yeah,
right? So,
that's right. So the word al-kafirun here and al-zalimun,
yeah,
although it is like structurally masculine,
hmm,
male, plural, but it means all types
all
of
types of.
people who
Perfect.
are kafirun or zalimun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we need an example now for the female plural. Female exclusive plural sound.
Mm-hmm. I can start, Sheikh.
Yes, Shala.
إذا جاءكم المؤمنات مهاجرات. So in this,
Okay. Surah,
al-mu'minatu would be
this
nominated.
is this is
This is
Surah
60,
Al-Mumtahana.
yeah, 60-10.
10. Yes. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا جاءكم المؤمنات مهاجرات. Yeah. So tell me about that.
So al-mu'minatu will be plural female nominative, and
Mm-hmm.
muhajiratin will be female plural accusative genitive.
ممتاز ممتاز. So what is the marker for the nominative?
Atu, atun.
Okay, so the alif and ta is the marker
The alif.
for the plural.
Mhm.
Okay, but for the case it is only the dhamma.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the alif and ta does not change. I mean, this is the alif and ta whether it is nominative, and this is the alif and ta whether it is accusative and genitive. But the markers here are the dhamma will be for the nominative, and the kasra will be for the genitive or the accusative. MashaAllah. Good discovery and good search in the Quran. MashaAllah. Ameen. Mumtaz. Uh, Anyone would like to add other examples?
For the plural female nominative in
Mhm,
Surah Al-Kahf, Ayah
mhm,
88,
mhm.
I found it in the ayah where it says وَعَامِلَ الصَّالِحَاتُ. So the lam, the elephant ta is there, and the dhamma in above the ta is there to mark the case.
What number of the ayah
88, 88,
and which surah?
Surah Kahf.
Surah Al-Kahf
Yes,
or Surah Qaf?
Surah 18.
18. Okay, yeah. So this is Surah Al-Kahf 18,
Yeah.
88.
Yes.
وأما من آمن وعمل صالحا فله جزاء الحسنى. Is this the ayah?
So yep, I have Salihat too.
Okay, so there is no alif ta here.
No, I must have mixed up the ayahs
I
then.
mixed it with another surah maybe.
Maybe. Okay, I'll find it.
Yeah, okay. So there is in the same ayah, in fact, this عمل الصالحات. Okay, I think uh, with ذو القرنين. Okay, عمل صالحا. Mm. There are many ayat in the Quran that says عملوا الصالحات الذين آمنوا. Yeah, it is 107.
107? Okay.
107, but it is in the accusative. So إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. Okay. So
I'll try
عملوا
to find which ayah it was. I
So
didn't
this
mark
is
it down.
okay. So this is 107, but it is in the accusative. عملوا الصالحات. So the same word الصالحات can be found in Surah An-Nisa, which is Surah number 4, and ayah number this ayah number 34. You see, فالصالحات 34 in Surah number 4 An-Nisa. We have here الصالحات with the Dhamma. فالصالحات قانتات حافظات. As you can see, it is followed with these adjectives. صالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب. If you stop, we say just حافظات. صالحات قانتات حافظات.
I think also in Surah Kahf, it was ayah 46, where it has,
46. Okay,
yes.
let's see 46. Bismillah. والباقيات الصالحات. That's right. خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. Excellent. That's right. الباقيات الصالحات with the ضمة. ما شاء الله. Excellent discoveries in the Quran. ما شاء الله. Great. Well, so we say again that for the more than one person in Arabic, we have the dual, which we called al-muthanna. So al-muthanna is the dual, which is two. And we have al-jam'a, which is the plural. And the plural refers to 3 plus. Muthanna will have alif and nun at the marker, or ya and nun. But this nun has got a kasra. And this is both male or female. I mean, the female will only have the ta marbuta pronounced. So we say muhandisan and muhandisatan. For the jam'a, which is the plural, we have male and female. So for the male, we have waw nun and ya nun. But this ya nun has got a fatha, like muhandisuna and muhandisina. So whether it is waw nun or ya nun, the nun has got a fatha. While the nun for the muthanna, for the dual, has got a kasra. Also whether it is alif nun or ya nun. Rajulani and rajulayni. And the second type of jam', second type of the plural, is the female. And the female has got one marker, which is alif and ta. And so this alif and ta for the nominative will have a dhamma, and for the accusative will have a kasra. We never have a fatha for the feminine. It is only two markers. Dhamma for the nominative and kasra for the accusative and the genitive. Excellent. So we call this the sound plural. Sound, or let's say standard or regular plural. Then we have the irregular plural or the broken plural. Broken or irregular plural. So just like the English has got regular verbs and irregular verbs, and there are groups of these verbs together, Arabic also has got its own way of having the irregular plural or the broken plural. For example, you know that one important, very common word, which is kitab, right? Kitab, which means what?
Book.
A book. So we don't have a in Arabic, but if it is mentioned without the al, then this means a book. And the plural is what?
Kitabun.
Kitabun? No.
Kutabuna.
No. Yeah. So the plural is kutub.
Kutub. Yeah.
To kutub. So this doesn't have a waw nun or a ya nun or an alif ta. It is a different word, but it seems to share some of the origin of the singular. So this kaf and this ta, for example, are still here. The kaf and the ta are still here. And this ba is also there. So the ba is also there. So the alif is only missing. But it is not just about the alif that is missing. Also, the markers, there was fatha and kasra, this turned into dhammas. So what is happening? We start by looking at English. So in English, sometimes when we add part of a word, we call this an affix. An affix means an attached part. And this affix can be at the beginning, so it becomes a prefix. And it can be at the end, and then this would be called what? Suffix. So a word, for example, like happy, when someone is happy, this is an adjective. But if he's not happy, we can add un at the beginning. This un at the beginning is called a prefix. We added it at the beginning of the word. So we had a different word, unhappy. But we can add something at the end. So this Y, turn it into I and add NESS. So this NESS-ness that has been added at the end, this is called a suffix. And the root of the word, which is happy, is still there in the middle. So happiness, unhappiness. Okay. So adding at the beginning or adding at the end. Both are called affixes, but at the beginning, this is called a prefix. At the end, this is called a suffix. We can think of this in other words like teach, for them, the verb to teach. This is a verb, but we can derive the person from it by adding an ER. So this ER is what? A suffix. A suffix added to the word to change it and make it a new word. So it was a verb, now it turned into a noun, a person. If you say something like teachable, this is teachable. So we added able at the end to the word teach. So this is still a suffix, but we can still also say unteachable. So this un has been added as a prefix. And we may have more than one prefix, and we may have more than one suffix. So for example, we can have something like uh, nationalization, nationalization. So what is the root of the word?
Nation.
Nation.
National.
So a nation is the root. This is the smallest part that has got a meaning. And then we have AL to give the adjective national, right? And then we added IZE to get the verb nationalize. And then we added the ATION to give the process or the noun nationalization. So layers of suffixes coming. Okay?
Mm.
This is one way of thinking about it. Arabic does not follow this way. Although you might think of it like adding something in the beginning, added something at the end, like for example, muhandis, we have muhandis. So if we add waw and noon, this waw and noon will look like a prefix, a suffix that is added. So as if there is a waw noon added, so this is a suffix, if we are thinking in the same way, right? And if we add, for example, al at the beginning, so this al, which means the, seems like a prefix that is added to the word. Yes. But Arabic behaves differently because it sometimes adds in the middle of the word. Something happens in the middle of the word, not at the beginning and not at the end. For example, the word طلب. طلب. طلب means to request or to seek. Okay. طلب means to request or to seek something. And from this we can derive طالب. What is a طالب?
Teacher.
The
Student.
opposite,
Student.
student. Yeah, yeah, student, which is a seeker of knowledge. So what we have here is this alif that has been added, but it was not added at the beginning or added at the end. It was added in the middle. It was added in the middle. So should we call it an infix? So it is something in the middle, infix. In fact,
Yep.
some linguists will call it an infix in the middle, but what happens is that there are other changes. So طالب had a fatha, a fatha, a fatha, three fathas. But this one has got a fatha, ta, and then this lam has got a kasra, talib. So it is not just adding an alif, there are other changes that happened. Okay, from talaba we had talib. So what is this called? This is called patterns. So the Arabic language is using patterns. Patterns, or in Arabic, are called awzan. The awzan, or the patterns, refer to the melodic way of making or forming a new word. Forming a new word following a pattern. So if you think about any word in Arabic, any word in Arabic can be reduced to its root. And the root is normally no more than 3 letters. 3 letters. And in most cases, it will have 3 fathas. Fatha, 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 as we have seen with talaba. So think of any word, you can reduce it to 3 core letters. So for example, a word like muhandisin, or let's say another word, not just muhandisin. Let's get a word like masjid. Masjid, okay? Because you all know about the masjid. How many letters are in masjid?
4.
4.
4.
4 letters, okay. And we know that a root word will have only 3. So which 3
Sujood.
of these do you suggest would be the root?
Sujood. Sujood.
Okay,
Sajad,
so
Sajud.
yeah, we need 3 letters only. So we have the 3, sin, jim, and dal. Sajada. Sajada means to prostrate. Someone performed sujood, which means that this meme is added. And that's right. In fact, the meme is added to form the name of a place. So there is a rule in Arabic. If you would like to make the name of a place, just make it on this pattern. It doesn't tell you add meme. No, it just says make it follow this pattern. What pattern? The pattern that says maf'al. Ma'al. So what is this maf'al, and why are we using the word maf'al? So you know verb to do in English, verb to do. It refers to any action, right? The the equivalent verb in Arabic is fa'ala. Fa'ala means to do anything. Fa, then ain, then lam. And then this fa'ala will be our default pattern. Our default pattern is fa'ala. So this is the scale that we will be using. So for example, if I say to hit, I will say daraba. To eat, akala. To request, talaba. Okay, so as you can see, it is always fa'ala. It always having this rhythm of 3 fathas on 3 letters. Sajada, raka'a, daraba, dhahaba, akala, and as you can see, it is a melodic thing. It is a musical thing that your ear becomes accustomed to it. Okay. So for example, we know that from sajada, we can perform the place of sujood by having maf'al. So for kataba, if I would like to refer to a place where people can write, and I would like to use this pattern, maf'al, what do you think we will get out of kataba?
Makatab.
Excellent, ممتاز, maktab.
Mm.
Now you understand the word maktab. In fact, maktab is derived from kataba, but we followed the pattern. So we didn't just add a meme. The fact that we followed the pattern. Which pattern? This is the pattern. مفعل. So the patterns or the awzan in Arabic are so important. And we will not be able to know the awzan before we know the added letters. So we said that each word in Arabic has got 3 letters, أحرف, and these 3 letters will constitute the past simple. So kataba, in fact, means he wrote. So 3 letters, and mostly all the 3 letters will have fathas. In most cases, 3 letters. In a word like muhandis, or let's say mudarris. So we have mudarris. What would the root be?
درس.
Darasa. Excellent. Darasa. ممتاز. Now, istakshafa. Istakshafa, which means to explore. What do you think the root would be?
كشف.
ممتاز. كشف. So the kaf, the sheen, and the fa. So the question is, how did we know? How did we know that this is the root and the 3 first letters are added letters? There are 2 answers to this. One is that it is by intuition. The more you study, the more you get deeper into reading the Quran and learning about the Arabic language, you develop this linguistic instinct that will tell you this word rhymes with that word. So by analogy, this should be this or this should be like that. So this is called the intuition or the language instinct. But another answer is easier, is in fact, we have a list of the added letters. Whenever you see one of these letters, then know that these are added letters. What are these words? What are these letters? سألتمونيها. This is one word that has got all the added letters together to make it easy for people to remember. سألتمونيها, which means that if you have a sin in a word that is more than 3 letters, then most probably this sin is an added letter. If you have a hamza in a word that is more than 3 letters, then this is most likely an added letter. A lam, a ta, a mim, a waw, a noon, a ya, a ha, and an alif. If you have any of these in a word that is more than 3 letters, then most likely this would be one of the added letters. The word itself, سألتمونيها, means you asked for it. You asked me about it. Okay. So when I gave the example of istakshafa, now how many letters do we have in istakshafa?
كشف.
How many letters do we have?
6.
These 6. So we know that the root should be only 3.
3.
So which ones to drop?
كشف.
That's right.
No.
We keep kashafa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we look at this alif. Oh, this alif is here in part of Sa'altumuniha. So this is an added letter. There is a sin. So this is an added letter. There is a ta. So this is an added letter. Okay. So what are we left with? We are left with 3 letters, and all of them, we do not have any of them in Sa'altumuniha. Okay. So this would be the root. Kashafa. Kashafa. So this is, as I said, one way of knowing the root of the word. But most people would just make this kind of rhyming, this kind of instinct. They say istakshafa. Okay. So another word, for example, in order to tell you how it works, is istafhama. So look at istakshafa and look at istafhama. If istakshafa, the root is kashafa, so the root in istafhama is fahama.
فهم.
Yeah. So you see how is it working now? استفهمها looks like استكشف. If the root is in استكشف كشف, then the root in استفهم فهم. This is called analogy, right? Okay, another word is استسهل. استسهل. So what would be the root?
سهل.
سهل. ممتاز. So you can see that we have two scenes in the word. So one of them should be added because it is in Sa'altumaniya, but the other one should be a basic root letter. So we take the first three to be added just because they have been added in Istafhama, they have been added in Istakshafa. So we are left with Sahula. You can also say that, oh, the ha is here and we have it in Istafhama and we have it in Istashala. This is a ha. So why didn't we say that this is an added letter? Because we have to stop at three major letters. And they make a meaning. They get us a meaning like Fahima, Kashafa, Sahala. By working out this type of analogy, you get to know the patterns in Arabic.
And those three letters should be together.
Yes.
And it should be like a group, like in the beginning or end, wherever, but it should be all together. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes you will get one of them out, and for example,
Oh,
when we
really?
talk, yeah, when we get to the word talib, remember the word talib?
Oh, yes, 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 yes,
So you
yes, yes.
drop the alif, you are left with talaba.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Thank.
Yeah, yeah. So, which means that we need to focus on the patterns that will help us form the new words. In Arabic, we have patterns for everything. So if you would like to make the participant, the person who did something, we have a pattern to follow. If you would like to do the patient or someone who has been affected, we have another pattern to follow. If you would like to drive the name of the place, we have a pattern. If you would like to drive the name of the tool or the instrument, then there are also some patterns. If you would like to form the nationality or where someone belongs, there are some patterns to follow. And we have some patterns for the broken plural. So from the broken plural, we have these patterns. So the first pattern, pattern number one. So the broken plural, it's called broken because the word is different from the original word. Some of the words, letters are dropped and some are added, and they are following the patterns. So the first pattern is called fu'ul. Fu'ul. Okay, so three letters, and each one of them has got a dhamma. We see this in a word like rusul. Rusul, this is messengers or prophets, while the singular is rasul. So the singular is rasul, but the plural is rasul. So if you think that the word rasul, for example, is singular male, right? You might think that, oh, okay, if it is singular male, let's say rasulun. No, the Arabic language says no, this is not a correct word. This is not a sound word in Arabic, rasulun or rasulin. No, this is not the correct word. So what is the plural? The plural is to follow pattern number one. What is pattern number one? It says fu'ul. So let's look at the word rasul. What does it rhyme with fa'ala? So if I would like to write fa'ala, but with the same music of rasul, what this would be?
رسول.
Yeah, fu'ul. Okay, so rasul, fa'ul. So rasul has got a fatha on ra, and then the dhamma here, rasul. So we'll have fa and ul. So why do I get fa'ul? Because I need to turn this fa'ul into fu'ul. After I turn this fa'ul into fu'ul, I can apply it into rasul. So how do I do this? Fu'ul has got three letters. Fu'ul has got four letters. So what is the added letter?
Wow.
Fine.
The
I
wow is added.
wow.
Excellent. So
Oh,
the wow here is added. You see the
okay.
mathematics? MashaAllah.
Mm-hmm.
So this wow is added, which means that this wow is also added. If
Oh, okay.
if this wow is added, and then with fa'ul we dropped the wow, let's drop the wow from the original word. So we are left with this ra and sin and lam, and we put the dhammas, so it becomes ru sol. So this is the end product. Rasul turned into Rasul, but it moves through this process. Rasul rhymes with fa'ul, and fa'ul follows pattern number one, which is fa'ul. So applying fa'ul back to Rasul will drop the waw, and so we are ended with Rasul. So now we see that the uh, the 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 plural of Rasul is Rasul. The same thing with kitab. It turns to become kutub. So kutub also has got the dhamma. Kutub, rusul. Kutub is fa'ul, and rusul is fa'ul. Rusul, kutub. Other examples also surur. Surur. What is the meaning of surur? Yeah. So surur, beds. If you memorize some of the surahs of Juz Amma, على سرر مرفوعة. Surur, beds. And the singular is sarir. So sarir becomes surur. And Rasul becomes Rasul. And kitab becomes kutub. Medina becomes mudun. Jadid becomes judud. So what we see here in common is fall for pattern number one. Kutub, mudun, judud. Rusul, surur. And for the word himar, which is donkey, we have two types of plurals. So we can have more than one plural for some words. So we have humor, and we have also hamir, which is a different pattern. And the beauty of Arabic is that each pattern has got a meaning to be used. So we said that himar, a donkey. Himar can follow pattern number one and become humor. And this is mentioned in the Quran, humor. We'll see the examples, inshallah. And it can also be hamir, which is a different pattern. What pattern is this? Hamir rhymes with. So if Homer is fall, is Homer is fall, then Hamir would be fa. Yeah, that's right. Fa'il. 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 If you're struggling with this, no problem. We will repeat it inshallah many times, and we will get more examples each time we have classes after that until inshallah it lands with you. So we have two different types of plural for the word himar. And this is normal in some languages that you can get more than one form of the plural because each one has got a different meaning. For example, in English, the word mouse. What is the plural for mouse?
Mice.
Mice. If you mean the animal, but what about if you mean the thing in my hand?
Mouse.
Okay, so the plural for this would be mouses. And both are accepted because each one has got a different meaning. So mouse becomes mice and it becomes mouses if you refer to the computer mouse. Now in Arabic, Humor and Hamir, they both refer to donkeys, but they have different functions. The word Humor means few. few and weak. Few and weak. While hamir means many. Yes. Is there a question? Okay. So let's get examples for the words that we looked at. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So if we go to the word kutub, if we search for kutub, okay, so I'm writing it without the dots. وما آتيناهم من كتب يدرسونها وما أرسلنا إليهم قبلك من نذير يد. So this is Surat. This is Surat what? Surat Saba. Surat Saba. And which ayah? Uh, 44. Okay. So here is Surat Saba. 44. وما آتيناهم من كتب. كتب. So we see here the word كتب, which means books. We did not reveal to them scriptures or books. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about the people of Quraysh. So he's saying that we did not reveal to them before you, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, any of the scriptures to study it. يدرسونها. So they said the word kutub. Kutub. For the word Rusul, we have it in Surah Al-Baqarah in yes, in ayah 253. تلك الرسل. You see here the word Rusul. تلك الرسل. So Rusul means the messengers. الرسل. So we have seen Kutub, we have seen Rusul. Now for Humur, you know Surah Al-Muddathir. Maybe Surah Al-Mutaffifin. No, Surah Al-Muddathir, in fact. Yes. فما لهم عن التذكرة معرضين كأنهم. Look at this word. What is this word?
Homer.
Homo.
Humur. Yes. حمر مستنفرة. So if we try to look at the translation of this, so Surah Al-Muddathir number 50. Al-Muddathir 50. Al-Muddathir 50. كأنهم حمر مستنفرة. As if they were alarmed donkeys, frightened asses, affrighted asses, asses taking fright, frightened donkeys, frightened wild donkeys. So it is not just donkeys, but wild donkeys, startled asses. So as you can see, not all the translators like translated it donkeys because the common word for donkeys in Arabic is hamir with a ya. But this is a very particular use of the word humur, which means that they are few, they are weak. That's why they are saying alarmed, frightened, startled. Okay. In Surah Luqman, Luqman, the wise, was giving advice for his son. So he said to him, don't speak loudly, because speaking loudly will be like the sound of donkeys. واغضض من صوتك إن أنكر الأصوات لصوت الحمير. So here we have the word الحمير. So in the Quran we have both الحمر and الحمير. صوت الحمير. So the sound of donkeys. This is ayah number 19. Luqman 19. Yeah, be moderate in your pace and lower your voice. Indeed, the most disagreeable of sounds is the voice of donkeys. Okay, the voice of the ass. These are like the breaths of the asses, of donkeys, braying of the asses and the asses. So in the ayah before, they all said frightened donkeys or weak donkeys or alarmed or startling donkeys, but here they said just donkeys. So we have seen Rasul, we have seen Humur, we have seen Kutub. Okay. Now let's see the word surur. على سرر. سرر. Mhm. So let me get one. سورة الغاشية فيها سرر مرفوعة. Right? You know this surah, right? فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة. So surur, which means beds. So again, the pattern number one, فعل, we find it in كتب, in مدن, in جدد, in حمر, in surur, in رسل. So in your phrase book, you should have like a notebook where you take your notes. It can be a very good exercise for you to note down all the words that you come across and see what pattern is this. So if it has got all these dhammas, kutub, so normally the last letter would be different because it will have its case. But the first two letters have got the dhammas. Two dhammas at the two first letters, then this is pattern number one. Fu'ul. Okay. Are we good? Okay. So how about we take a break before we move to pattern number two?
Inshallah.
Okay, so 10 minutes and I'll come back, inshallah, to go to more patterns.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
MashaAllah. Oh, we have here كمان Sheikh Mudassir and Sheikh Samir. I didn't know that you were there.
Assalamu
MashaAllah.
alaikum. Yeah, I just came back from work.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We were looking at Surah Al-Mudathir.
MashaAllah.
Inshallah, mashallah. Okay, so we continue, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So we were saying that another type of plural in Arabic is called the broken plural. And it is called broken because it does not follow the rule of adding a waw noon or a ya noon or alif ta or whatever, but it follows what we call patterns. And the pattern is a musical scale or a rhythmic scale that we follow to make similar words. So if I tell you, for example, that pattern number 1 takes this form, fu'ul. So fu'ul, there is a fa, a ain, and a lam. The fa and ain and lam, all the three letters constitute the word fa'ala, which means to do. And this is the default that we use for all the patterns. So we'll see the fa, the ain, and the lam in different ways of making patterns. Sometimes they have fatha, sometimes they add a waw, sometimes they add a ya, but the fa, the ain, and the lam are always there. So if I tell you, for example, that the plural of Rasul follows pattern number 1, fu'ul. So you know that Rasul should be changed into something that rhymes with fu'ul, then it should be Rusul. If this ra goes to the fa, so this is equal to the fa, and the sin is equal to the ain, and the lam is equal to the lam here, then what's missing is this waw. So you drop this waw and you add the dhammas, so you end up with rusul. So rasul turns into rusul. The same thing happens if I tell you that sarir, the plural of sarir follows pattern number 1. So you know that pattern number 1 is fu'ul. So sarir becomes surur. And we have seen this in Surah Al-Ghashiyah. على سرر موضونة. The same thing for the word himar, donkey. It has more than one form of plural, but one form of that is pattern number 1, fu'ul. So this turns into humur. Still with pattern number 1, kitab becomes kutub, because kutub rhymes with fu'ul. Medina. In fact, if you look at the word Medina, you can drop the ta marbuta, because we know that the ta marbuta is for the female, an added letter. You can drop the meme at the beginning. So you're left with dain, okay? Dain only. And the fu'ul thing, we don't have to drop the meme because this is the name of the city. So the meme is an original part. So fu'ul will make it mudun. Mudun. And jadid becomes judud. We looked in the Quran at examples. So we saw the word kutub in Surah Saba. We saw the word rusul in Surah Al-Baqarah. We saw the word surur in Surah Al-Ghashiyah. And we saw the word humur in Surah Luqman. No, in fact, in Surah Al-Muddathir. In Surah Al-Muddathir, we looked at humur. In Surah Luqman, we looked at hamir, the other form of the plural for donkey. Okay. Yes, Shireen.
I was wondering what's the easiest way to recognize when a noun is a broken plural? Do we have to memorize the patterns?
Yeah, so what we'll have to do is first we start by applying the rule. We start by applying the rule. So if I know, for example, a word like miskin, you know the word miskin? Someone is miskin, which means what?
Poor?
Gharib. Poor.
Yeah, very poor.
Mm-hmm.
So as it is now, it is singular masculine, right? Singular masculine. If we'd like to make it plural, the first thing is we add the sound plural. So we say miskinun. We add a waw nun. But we are not sure whether this is correct or not. We are not sure whether this is correct or not. Here we have to consult. Consult what? Consult a dictionary or a native Arabic speaker, or we can just ask the AI to tell us whether this is a sound, a good Arabic word or not. So if we ask Google, is miskinun a word in Arabic or not? They will tell you that there is nothing called miskinun in Arabic. And that the plural for miskin is not a sound plural. Okay, so this is the first step. We know that now this is not a sound plural. So we have to follow other rules. What are the other rules? Look at the word miskin. What does it rhyme with? So we say mif'il. Mif'il. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. Miskin, mif'il. So this meme rhymes with this meme. And this ya rhymes with this ya. Right? And we are left with 3 letters only. What are the 3 letters? Fa'ala. So miskin comes from sakana. Okay, great. So we know that miskin comes from sakana. So what should we do with words that are on mif'il? The rule says you follow pattern number 7, which is mafa'il. Mafa'il. So pattern number 7 is mafa'il, where we have an added alif after the fa, an added alif after the fa. So mafa'il, if we apply mafa'il to miskin, what is the result?
Masakin.
Masakin, mumtaz. So here you got the plural. Masakin. You might think that this is like lots of mathematics to do, lots of calculations to do. But the more you study and the more you get into the language and the more you get familiar with words, you will notice similarities between words. And then we'll say, oh, okay, so this miskin reminds me of another word that has got the same sounds, and the plural was this. So this should be that, and it becomes correct. And that's why we call it the intuition, on how it works, just following these patterns. Masakin. So we find in the Quran masakin, and we'll see that the word masakin is correct. The last step to do is just to check again. Check with Google, check with AI, check with the dictionary, check with an Arabic native speaker and tell them, is masakin a good word in Arabic? They will say yes. Then you know that you have reached it. Okay. So subhanallah, masakin. A very interesting ayah in the Quran in Surah At-Tawbah. Let's look at Surah At-Tawbah. إنما الصدقات للفقراء. Okay. Yes, this ayah number 60. Okay. Before we look at this ayah, as you can see, for the broken plural, we have a totally different word, or a word that is different, but it shares the root with the singular. And because it is a different word and we do not work with added like waw nun or ya nun or alif ta, so the markers for the case are the original ones, which are the dhamma for the nominative, the fatha for the accusative, and the kasra for the genitive. So there is no problem in this. Just like any other singular word, it has the dhamma, the fatha, and the kasra. So we can have مساكين, we can have مساكين, and we can have مساكيني. 3 different ways of adding the markers. In this ayah, we say إنما الصدقات. So your charity should go to للفقراء والمساكين. Okay. والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل. So these are the persons that our zakah should go to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is specifying for us the persons whom we should give zakah to. This include first the poor, al-fuqara, the destitutes, al-masakin, al-amilin alayha, the people who work to collect the zakah, al-mu'allafati qulubuhum, the people who entered Islam, who embraced Islam recently, wa fi riqab, to set free slaves, wal gharimin, people who are having heavy debts, to pay their debts, wa fi sabilillah, whatever happens or you spend for the cause of Allah, wa ibn sabil, and the wayfarer, the traveler who doesn't have money. So these are the people that we should give the zakat to. Now, you remember that we said that the genitive case always comes after a proposition. The genitive case always comes after a proposition. So here we have the word lil fuqara. This lam means two. Li. Li means two. So this is a proposition. What comes after it should have a genitive marker. So al-fuqara has got this kasra. fuqara'i. Al-masakini has got this kasra. Al-mu'allafati has got this kasra. في الرقاب has got this kasra. Sabili has got this kasra. وابن السبيل has got the kasra. The only words that do not have the kasras in these two sentences is this. Al-amilina has got a fatha and al-gharimina has got a fatha. So any clue why these two have got a fatha and not a kasra? So if you look at these two words, these are just the normal, regular sound plural. And the regular sound plural has got a ya noon. So the marker for the genitive is the ya noon, not the kasra. So we already have the ya noon. And this noon always have got a fatha because the sound plural always has got a noon with a fatha. We say muhandisuna and muhandisina. So always the noon will have a fatha. But this fatha is not the marker of the genitive. The marker of the genitive is the whole ya and noon. And al-gharimin. So what to consider here is al-amilin looks so similar to al-masakin. So this ends with a ya noon and this ends with a ya noon. But this is not sound plural. This is broken. This is sound. How we know that this is sound and this is broken? This uses the kasra as a genuine genitive marker. This uses the fatha on the noon with the ya noon, the full ya noon as the marker for the genitive. So I'm just telling you an example of what you should do or you can be doing, inshallah, at more advanced levels. Today, you just need to get familiar with some of the patterns, and then you can do many, many hours of practice with these, inshallah, and see which ones gets right and which one gets out. I hope this helps, yeah, Shireen.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
I mentioned dictionaries, so you need an Arabic English dictionary for your dictionary work. In fact, dictionary is really important for your work. The book that we are studying has got a glossary at the beginning. Remember, the list of words that I asked you to memorize at the very beginning, word list number 1. So we call this a glossary. A glossary, which means that is a list of important words in the Quran, and that will help you in the first part of the course. There will be word list number 2 after the first part of the book. So this is really important. But if you would like to get more words, then we suggest that you use this dictionary. This dictionary is called Hans Ver Dictionary, Arabic English. Arabic English Dictionary. This is how it looks. The Arabic English of modern written Arabic, Hans Ver. Originally, it was German, Arabic German, and then it was translated to be Arabic English. You don't need to buy the book because there are many available free PDFs where you can download a copy of the book if you would like. So, for example, here, just the first result, we have the book as PDF. So you don't need to download it. One good thing about this is whenever there is a word, it will tell you what pattern is this and what form of the verb. So, and what is the root for this. So let's say an example. Mhm. Mm, let's see. For example, this word, bahatha. So this is the word, bahatha. And then between two brackets, bahth. So this is the root, bahth, to look, to search for. And the proposition would be an, to seek, to do research, to investigate, to study. And then the other proposition that are used with it. And then they give you the form of the verb, the different forms of the verb. And then the plural. So I say bahth, the plural would be buhuth, buhuth. Bahth, the plural would become buhuth. And then he says there are other forms like abhath. So buhuth and abhath. So they give you that. And then they'll say bahath. Bahath is a scholar, is a person who is scholar. And then bahatha is an eminent scholar. So it's really a good dictionary to use. But we gave this example of bahth became buhuth. This gets us to the pattern number 2. Pattern number 2 is fu'ul. Fu'ul. So bahth became buhuth. Fasl, which is a classroom, becomes fusul. So fasl becomes fusul. So the difference between pattern number 1 and pattern number 2 is that pattern number 1 has got dhammas only. Pattern number 2 has got more than a dhamma on the ain. It became a full wow. So fu'ul, but here fu'ul. This was kutub, but these are fusul. It's a complete wow. Okay. Jaib, which is pocket, becomes what? Who can pronounce this?
Juyub. No,
Juyub.
Juyub.
Yeah, that's right.
Juyub.
Juyub.
Juyub. Yeah.
Samir, can you pronounce this? Are you here, Samir? Okay. Yes.
Hailu.
Khayl.
Hailu.
That's right. And the plural would be
خيول.
خيول.
خيول. That's right.
خيول.
خيل خيول. And this one مدثر.
صف.
صف. That's right. This becomes
صفو. صفوف.
صفوف. صفوف. Shireen, this one.
Sorry. Tarfu becomes turuf.
Yeah, ظرف with the
Oh,
ضاء.
zarfu becomes
Mm,
zuruf. Mhm.
ظروف. Yeah. So as you can see, فصول, جيوب, خيول, صفوف, ظروف, and the word that we saw in the dictionary, بحوث. We also have nafs becomes what? Who can read that?
Nufus.
نفوس.
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 Yeah, nufus.
نفوس.
Nufus. Another
نفوس.
plural of the
نفوس.
same word nafs is anfus. And as we said,
أنفس.
when we have more than one plural, then each is used in a particular context or has got a very specific meaning that is different from the others. But the general word is nufus. Okay, so this is pattern number 2, fu'ul. We have seen nufus, fusul, buhuth, khuyul, sufuf, and dhuruf. Let's see in the Quran the word nufus. Where is nufus? وإذا النفوس زوجت in سورة التكوير. إذا الشمس كورت. Okay, you know سورة التكوير. وإذا النجوم نجوم. The word نجوم is فعول. Can you see that?
Yep.
نجوم.
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 نجوم. Yeah.
وإذا الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت وإذا الوحوش حشرت وإذا البحار سجرت وإذا النفوس زوجت. So here is the word نفوس.
نفوس. Yeah.
We saw that nufus looks like nujum, rhyme with nujum. There is the third word here in the same page. Who can get this out?
وحوش.
Wuhush, mashallah, that's right,
Yeah.
wuhush.
Mhm.
So now if we know that nufus is the plural of nafs, nujum would be the plural of what?
نجم.
نجم.
Najm, that's right, والنجم إذا
نجم.
هوى. Wuhush would be the plural of what?
وحش.
وحش.
Wahsh, that's it, a beast. So
Beast, animal.
wuhush, animal or beast. So wuhush, nufus, nujum, and this is pattern number 2. You see the difference between kutub and nujum. Full wow, not just dhammas.
Full wow.
Mhm. Okay, so subhanallah. Okay, so this is in Surah At-Takwir, An-Nufus. MashaAllah. طيب, we looked now at 2 patterns. Now pattern number 3 is easy and straightforward. This pattern number 3 is fu'al. This looks so similar to pattern number 1, but look, pattern number 1 has got all dhammas. Fu'ul. Pattern number 3 has got 1 dhamma and the second letter has got a fatha. Fu'al. So ulba, which is a box, becomes ulab. Ulab, boxes. Usra, which is a family, becomes usar. Surah, like a surah in the Quran, the plural is suwar. Following pattern number 3, suwar. Ghurfa, which is a room, becomes ghuraf.
غرف.
Who can pronounce this one?
Suratun.
Yeah.
Suratun.
Yeah. Suratun becomes
Suratun. Sur.
Suwar.
suwar.
Sur.
Suwar.
Yeah. Remember,
Sur.
this is a fatha.
Oh,
Suwa.
suru.
Wa. We have
Su.
to
Oh,
give the
suwa.
yeah.
Suwa.
Suwar.
Suwa. Yeah, Suwa. That's right. This is a
Yeah.
fatah there.
So
So,
yeah.
Suwa.
Sura. Suwar.
Suwa. Suwar. Suwar.
And who can say this?
Dol. Dolat.
Dawlat.
Dulat.
Dolat.
Dulat.
Dowal.
Dulat.
Duwa.
Dulat.
Remember, when you say
Dowal.
the word, you don't pronounce the ta marbuta, you just pronounce a ha.
Dula. Dula. Dula.
Dawl. Dawla.
Dula.
Okay, dula
Dula.
Dawla.
becomes
Dula.
dual.
Dowal.
Dual.
Dowal.
Dual. Dual.
So I said that it is straightforward because look at the singular. The singular has got the same system and the plural has got the same system. All the singular has
Dual.
got 4 letters
Dual.
and all end with a ta marbuta, right? And all have got the first with a dhamma, the second with a sukun, and the third with a fatha. So, ulbah, usra,
Usra.
surah,
Sura.
غرفة,
Urba.
surah,
Sura.
دولة.
Dula.
So all of these
Dula.
share the same vowels. All the vowels are the same, and so they get the same pattern for the plural. And the pattern is drop the ta marbuta. So if you think about it, drop the ta marbuta. Make this lam with a sukun into a fatha. So it becomes ulab. And this rhymes with fu'al. Yeah. Usar, suwar, ghuraf. Okay. Let's see examples for this in the Quran.
Teacher, a question here. This is
Yes.
Danish. How we will know that this pattern, specifically for number 3,
Mhm.
that the pattern number 3 we need to follow, like
Mhm.
the original word. On the original word, how we will recognize the original word?
Yeah, that's a good question, mashallah. Very wonderful question. So as I said, you need to develop the intuition, and the
Oh, okay.
intuition means that you know some similar words. So we have
Okay,
already
okay.
seen the word غرفة, right?
Right.
غرفة,
Okay.
which is a room. Okay, so we have seen
Mm-hmm.
it, and we know that غرفة,
Mm-hmm.
4 letters. The first one has got a dhamma, غر, and then a sukun, and then we have here a fatha.
Yeah.
And this is a ta marbuta. Now, for a word that I see for the first time, which is uh, furja,
Mm-hmm.
furja. Even if I don't know what what the meaning is, but I can see the similarity between the two words,
Yep,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
So even without knowing what furja is, if I know that
Mm-hmm.
ghurfa becomes ghuraf, furja would
Okay.
become what?
Forage.
Forage. Excellent, mashallah.
Yeah.
So you see, you don't know what a forja is, but you got the plural.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the analogy that we said about.
Mm-hmm.
The
Thank you.
analogy, always working with the analogy. Yeah, the Arabic language needs you to be alert and to do some processing
No, it's
in
good.
order to get it right. Forage.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Uh, yes, so this is pattern number 3. And examples in the Quran include the word ghuraf. So let's search for the word ghuraf. Yes, Surah Az-Zumur and Surah Al-Ankabut, Surah Al-Furqan, and Surah Saba. So let's take the first one, which is Surah Az-Zumur, Zumur 39:20. This Surah Zumur 20. This is 20. لكن الذين اتقوا ربهم لهم غرف. See the word here.
Yeah.
Those who were mindful of their Lord, they have rooms in Jannah. غرف.
Wow. That's right.
من فوقها غرف. Again, غرف another time.
Right.
And so the Quran is saying that those who were mindful of their Lord will have rooms above rooms. So second stories of the houses in Jannah. غرف من فوقها غرف. غرف. And so this is the plural. The singular is mentioned in Surah Al-Furqan. Yeah, the last three ayahs. I mean, these are commonly known ayat. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ. So these are ayat that called وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ, the qualities of the worshippers of Ar-Rahman. So Allah mentions different qualities until He reaches this part, and then they say, أُولَئِكَ يُجْزَوْنَ الْغُرْفَةَ. الْغُرْفَةَ. So this is the singular. الْغُرْفَةَ. غرفة is the room. So they have a particular room, specific room for them in Jannah, or space in Jannah. يجزون الغرفة. So غرفة, the plural becomes غرف. غرف. Okay. And as I said, you can apply this to whatever word that has got the similar rhyme. So مزحة. مزحة is a joke. مزحة. What would be the plural?
مزاحة.
مزاح
Muzah.
Yep.
مزاح
مزح.
Yeah.
That's
Muzah.
right. مزح. Then طرفة.
Turf.
ترى
Yeah.
Turf.
طرف
Turf.
طرف. Yes. طرف. طرف. And as you go in this way. So this is pattern number 3. Straightforward and subhanallah, also good. Okay. Now let's look at pattern number 4. I know this can be a lot, but I mean, this is just an introduction to the patterns, and then you can do your exercises at home with many of these as you can. So we have here common one, which is fi'al.
Oh.
Pattern number 4 becomes fi'al. So the same fih, ain, lam, which is verb to do, fa'ala, but this time we added an alif. So in pattern number 4, we added, we didn't add anything. In fact, we just put the dhamma and the fatha. In pattern number 2, we added a waw, fu'ul, fu'ul. In pattern number 1, we added dhammas. Here we add an alif. And the fa has got a kasra, and the ain has got a fatha. So the pattern says fi'al.
Oh.
fi'al. So one common word for this is the plural of man. What is man in Arabic?
Rajul.
Rajul. That's right, Rajul.
Rajul.
And what is the plural?
Rijal. Rijal. No.
That's it. Rijal.
Rijal.
رجال
Yeah. So this Rijal is in fact pattern number 4.
Oh.
Rijal. Rijal. So it rhymes with fi'al. So rajul becomes rijal. Jabal becomes
Jibal.
jibal. Excellent. Jibal.
Jibal. Jibal.
Jibal. And as you can see, I just put the diacritics or the fatha and the dhamma and the kasra, the harakat for the first two letters, because this is an alif, which means a bigger fatha by its own. And the last letter, we don't put anything on it. Rajul, Jabal. Okay. And the other examples that we have here include balad. So Rajul, we have here balad becomes bilad, a country. Bilad. So it can mean a country or a town. Balad, bilad. And bagl, the mule becomes bigal. Who can read this?
Jabal. Jibal.
No, this is not
It's
Jabal.
Habal. Sorry. Habal.
Yeah,
Habal.
becomes what?
Hibal.
Hibal. Okay.
Sorry.
Mudathir, can you see this? Qaima
قيمة
becomes
خيام
قيام
خيام
khiyam. Okay, khiyam. Okay. And let's look at this one. Who can read this one?
غضبان.
Yeah, Ghadban.
غضبان. غضاب.
And this one?
That's easy. ضعيف.
Da'if. That's right. This becomes
ضعاف.
Di'af. Now, these two are kind of different because they have only two letters. So what is this?
Ram.
دم
Dam.
دم
Oh, this is dal.
Yeah, dal and mim. Dam. Yeah, blood. So in fact, the fact that the meme has got a shadda, so it is not just one meme, these are two memes. So
two. Dam.
So in fact, we have three letters. So we are still with three letters. And the plural would be
Dima.
So we added dima here. Dima. So it's kind of different other than the others because we added a hamza that did not exist here at the beginning. Okay. Also, this just
Kitta.
Yes.
Kittat.
Okay. So we have two words for qit. So we have qit, which is the masculine singular qit. And we have qitta, which is the singular female. We can give qitat, qitat, with a qitat. This is one way of doing it. And we can also have qitat. And as we said, that each would be used differently, but the form that is more common is qitat, this one. If we search in the book of the Answer, the dictionary, if we search for qitta, we have to go all the way to the qaf, right? I'm sorry. To make it very quickly, looking for the qaf. If you have used your dictionary long ago, you know that we just look at the words at the top here. If we look at the word at the top, does it start with the letter that we want? No, then go ahead and follow more. So we don't read in any of these, so just go quickly by looking at the top words only. If the top words come to the letter that we are searching for, then we stop. Like modern day electronic dictionaries, you just type the word and it will get it to you directly. Here you have to do some like thinking about where to stop and where to find the word. This is the like the manual old way, but it is good to get to know other words as you are searching.
Okay. If we do Control F, teacher, can we get it? No.
Sometimes it works in
Oh,
PDFs,
okay.
but I'm not
Okay.
sure if it works in this one because this seems to
It's
be
a
as a
picture
picture.
actually.
A picture,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm. So this is the fa. Here we get to the
فلا.
qa. Yeah, qaf. So we go also for the qa, ta. Yeah, okay. So qa,
Mm.
okay. And then we look at the qat. Yes, and here is the word that we want. Qatta is a verb. Yeah, here. Qit. And the plural is qitat and qitat. So you see the qitat that I told you about, and then the qitat. And they are adding more. There are also qitata. So this is a third way of making the plural. So the plural, according to the more common, is qitat. Less common, qitat. Very obscure, qitata. And qit in its own way, it become a male cat or a tomcat. Qitta would be the female. Qutayta would be the kitten. Okay. And then you get more information as you go. There is a website that you can also use for quick reference, which is the Arabic Lexicon. It's called the Arabic Lexicon. The Arabic Lexicon. Oh, I don't know why. So there seems to be a problem with it, but no problem. Inshallah, it can work another time. So this is pattern number 4 that has got fi'al, bilad, bighal, حبال, خيام, دماء, ضعاف, غضاب, قطاط, and we have seen رجال and جبال. Let's look. We have more examples, in fact, here. Yeah, جبل becomes جبال. A dog, كلب, becomes كلاب. So a dog becomes كلاب. بحر becomes بحار. Okay, and رجل becomes رجال. Let's see examples for this in the Quran. We have the word رجال, common word. رجال لا ترهيهم. من المؤمنين رجال in سورة الأحزاب. رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع in سورة النور. Now let's look at جبال. وينزل من السماء من جبال. سورة القارعة وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش. Remember this? وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش. Okay. And then we can search also for words like, okay, we've seen جبال, we've seen رجال. We can also look for بغال, mules. We have this in Surah Al-Nahl. Surah Al-Nahl, Allah says that He created the donkeys, the horses, and the mules for us to ride. Al-Khayl wal-Bighal. بغال. So we have here بغال والحمير تركبها وزينة. So to sum up, we say that in Arabic, we follow patterns, and the patterns are really important for all Arabic morphology. Morphology is the science of etymology, of getting out words, making the subject, making the doer of the verb, making the adjective from the verb, making the affected person, making the name of the place. So for example, from one word like kataba, to write, we can get many words from this word if we know the patterns. So kataba means to write. Katib would be the doer, the writer.
The writer.
Yeah. Maktab would be the place
Place
of writing.
written.
Maktab. Maktaba would be the place for books, library. Maktub would be the letter itself that is written. Okay. And then kutub would be the plural of kitab,
Books.
books. And then we can have also iktataba, which means to write down a common plea or a common cause where people sign for a project. And istaktaba means someone invited another to write in their journal or in their newspaper. Istaktaba. As you can see, all have got the root of kataba, but with the added letters that follow the patterns. So if it is fa'il, then this is the doer. If it is maf'ul, then this is the affected. If it is maf'al, this is the place. If it is maf'ala, this is a bigger place. If it is fu'ul, this is the plural. If it is if ta'ala, this means to exert effort in making something. If it is istafala, means to ask someone to do something. So whatever comes with ista at the beginning like this means to ask someone to do something. Istaktaba, to ask someone to write. And the example that we looked at in this morning, we said istafhama, to ask someone to make him understand, fahima. Istakshafa, to go and ask someone to explore something, to uncover something. So for these patterns, we are introduced to the very first of the patterns. These are patterns for the broken plural. We have patterns for the past, we have patterns for the present, we have patterns for the doer. So this is just your first introduction to the patterns in Arabic. And we have looked at 4 patterns only. Pattern number 1, which is fu'ul. Pattern number 2, which is fu'ul. Pattern number 3, which is fu'al. And pattern number 4, which is fi'al, as in rijal and jibal. Next week, inshallah, we'll have some more patterns and we will read through the book to see examples in the Quran that have got words that follow the broken plural. The broken plural is not over. It is an ongoing process of learning more and more as you go in Arabic. So you know the basic rule of the waw and nun and the ya and nun and alif and ta. But as we said, this is 50% of words in Arabic. The other 50% follow the patterns. As you develop this intuition of knowing whether this is sound plural or not sound plural and what pattern should you use with this, inshallah. So this gets us to the end of our class today. And your homework would be what?
Homework.
Examples?
Yes. Try to find just one example from each pattern. So you have 4 patterns. We need 4 examples.
For example.
فعل, فعول, فعل, and fi'al. Rhyming with
Okay.
these. Okay.
Okay.
So
Good.
yeah. Yeah, try to find these inshallah Rabbil Alameen, and we will look at them next week.
Inshallah.
And please
Jazakallah.
send your homework to brother Osama. He can comment on them and give you valuable feedback, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Jazakumullah khair. So we meet inshallah next Saturday, Sunday on our regular time and the
Time.
place, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Walaikum
And
salam
please
wa
don't
rahmatullah.
hesitate to send the homework because it's very important, as Sheikh has mentioned in previous classes. And whatever you have done, and I know, mashallah, some students have put their effort, and I really appreciate that. And inshallah, whatever you have spent time on it, please send across. And if there, even besides the homework, if you have any question or any clarification, please don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Jazakumullah
Jazakumullah
khair.
khair.
Jazakallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.